Trade Genius.
What's up, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. Wanted to go over a couple articles that came out with regards to Russia and Bitcoin. A university professor in Russia that works for the government made some interesting comments. First, it started off in Twitter, and it said that this is Vladislav Ginko, and he's works for the government. He says that I believe here in Moscow, Russia, the real factor of Bitcoin adoption will be when the Russian government I'm working for will start investing almost 470 billion reserves into Bitcoin. I expect that to be at least 10 billion in the first quarter of this year. I mean, that's a pretty wild and pretty large investment in Bitcoin. Now, one thing we've talked about in the past, if you've been following us, is that as Bitcoin matures, you could see it turning into a reserve asset class amongst governments and even amongst some of the central banks. And this could be a huge catalyst going forward. Again, the bigger picture here is Bitcoin's got a ton of upside through adoption, but because of its age and resilience and being a battle-tested chain, this is kind of this is where the primary adoption into crypto is going, Bitcoin. So this would be the equivalent of about 14+% of the entire market cap if Russia was to do this at the current numbers, and about 2.5 million Bitcoin at current prices. So they would own a substantial chunk of the circulating supply. And when you start taking out the supply, what happens? Things run up. In 2018, we saw this happen with China as the yen was starting to devalue, and we saw a pretty decent run up on that. So, and it doesn't take a lot to create a catalyst for a run up. So it'll be interesting to see what the price action is here in the first quarter. If we start seeing a sustained move up, or if Russia confirms that they're doing this, could be pretty interesting. And that's kind of the situations where you look back and you go, well, I guess that was the bottom. We'll see. We've got a lot of work to do on the weekly and monthly time frames, but this situation here with Russia, or not Russia, but this university professor announcing this is pretty interesting news. We'll see what happens. But again, this is one man talking about what he thinks is going to happen. Nothing official, but it is interesting. He is a university professor's worked for the government for about 20 years, and citing that the sanctions and things like that are what's driving them away from being dollar dependent and looking for alternative defensive strategies, Bitcoin being one of them. So anyway, thought I would share that with you guys. Pretty interesting. Again, I think that bodes, if that pans out, bodes well for putting in a bottom near term, and I think falls into play with what potential Bitcoin has as it turns into a reserve asset for a lot of different entities, governments, reserve banks, things of that nature. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.
Trade Genius.